So I'm back trying to help you guys see and put this together and give you guys the tools in order to be able to tear our history apart and find the truth. The only way we're going to find the truth is through our old photographs and our history and our documents. And when you start putting it all together, you're going to start to see. So this one, I posted this because when you guys figure out what I have, you're going to understand that these guys have completely destroyed our world. And every war basically is basically started with one bullet, one shot heard around the world. And so if you think about that, every time period or whatever had a shot around the world. Ours was a med a med sp- a med sting. That shot heard across the world. So this is for all the brothers and sisters and patriots of the world. I don't expect this to go mainstream media, but I want you guys to, see it and have you guys work and do what I did here because this is the only way we're going to prove it. Okay. I'm sorry that you can post photograph after photograph of buildings, but until you guys actually rip history apart and start coming to terms and understanding how to look for markers in time and what to, put the puzzle together. Okay, so my last video. This is a train wreck. This is painful for me. I never wanted to do this, but I'm here because yeah. When you guys figure out this game, you're gonna understand God's in the story, and yeah, it's weird. Anyway, so I don't want to, I'm not here to condemn anybody for their beliefs, but I'm just letting you know, like, when you put this whole thing together, you're just gonna sit back on a fucking stump and just look dumbfounded because you're gonna be amazed at there's no way that creation was just some random explosion. But believe what you want. But that's why I'm here, is because I want to show my brothers and sisters of the world and of this country we've been lied to about everything, or at least our history's been rewritten for what it is. And I'm here to show you guys the keys. All right. So this is one of the most important parts is this one on this because I'm going to crack this and open up for the Patriots first. So I tried to explain in my last video like how the clocks and architecture and everything is similar all over the world. You just have to know what you're looking for. You have to break it down. Another marker in time, how would you figure out where to go and what to look for? That was the other key to this whole thing is because of where I grew up and what I've been all over Colorado. That's the key to this whole thing is I know Colorado and what I witnessed and through these photographs and stuff. Yeah, Colorado's still the same to me, but I can tell you right now, history is not what it is. Our time is way longer than they told us. And I'll tell you how you're going to figure this out. And I've gone through all these photographs to show you guys, the difference in time. And I'll put this up in my Salida video. And, I could go through this whole thing. And in my drive here, this is the United States. I'm not really here to offend anyone with, language or whatever. But at this point in the game, you have to start to realize that you have to be honest with God, honest what's going on in the country, and honest with your brothers and sisters, okay? Because this shit's crazy, and it's just going to get crazier unless we put a stop to it. And I believe the shot heard around the world maybe is this photograph of what I'm about to kind of give you guys insight into, our history and what to look for and to catch. Because I could tell you right now, I'm going to go through Salida and just tear it apart, along with a lot of other cities in Colorado by just going through the truth of what they say, what actually happened. Yeah, it's ugly, guys. And you'll be able to start to see that our history has definitely been a lie. Okay, so these are the drives. This is a Gmail account that this is not from this Gmail account because this thing, I need over 100 gigabytes of fucking information to carry this whole thing. So these two files you're going to have to go into. This is the first one that I did when I tried to explain this and show people. It just didn't, nobody really bid on it, which is fine. That's kind of what I expected. But now we're late in the deep in the game and, we need a win. So please, if you continue watching this, brothers, I'm going to get to you to show you the patriotism. Patriotism means love for country, cities, land, where you were born. And when the rest of the world figures out what I figured out, they're going to see how important it is for them to return back to their lands and start building God's world. Because that's what it is. We've lived in Satan's world. If you like it, well, guess what? Sorry, I think it's about done because God has definitely sent me on a mission to expose all this. So if you go into here, the reason why I'm pointing this out one again is because Pueblo, Colorado is in this one. If you go down to, I hate it when loading this thing has been so difficult. This is the weirdest thing I've ever seen. Trying to document this, load this with the computer, internet, with file transfers, it's absolutely crazy. But if you go into here, this is the first one that I was trying to do was Pueblo, Colorado to expose there's no way you could have built what you built in the time frame. And that's the thing. I should have started with one of the smaller cities in Colorado, and that's why I chose Salida. And so this right here, when I tell you I'm going to rip history apart, is stuff like this. Okay, so this is where I got all the photographs, everything that I collected, so that way nobody can say that I doctored this. Plus, you can do your own damn research. I've made it somewhat easy for you, especially if you don't live in Colorado, to kind of give you an idea what you're looking for, because this is for the world. This is so huge. Markers in time are trees. You know, not only that, they represent kingdoms and a bunch of other stuff. Knowledge. Knowledge. And I had a photograph for that. Let me see if I can find it. Because, you know, you just, oh man, I wish I'd, anyway, it'll take me a minute to find it and I won't pause the video for that. But what I'm trying to tell you guys is tree growth, how long it actually takes to grow a tree. And especially in Colorado, we have higher elevations. Not only that, time frame, when Colorado actually got the railroad, when towns established the railroad, when they were founded, or when they were supposedly, I would predict that they were divided and conquered, honestly. That's the best word to fucking say. And that's what happened. And the rich people of the world did it. So you can go into these files and look up everything that I've looked for. And what's going to get important is stuff like this, common sense. Okay, I know the world doesn't function on that anymore because, yeah. You know what? You guys want your fucking participation trophies? All of you fuckheads that were like this should get a fucking badge of honor for this shit. What you put everybody else through. Fucking so easily manipulated. Sorry, I'm gonna get pissed. All right, stop that. Because this is supposed to be an educational video. It's not supposed to be a rant and rave. But anyway, so I'm trying to tell you guys how to document all this, put it all history. Flags are another thing, especially if you're patriotic. I got a whole list of flags from Colorado showing the patriotism in our history. Now I'm going to show you a world that you didn't understand. And because the world is hidden, let me show you what I'm talking about. Okay. Let me go back one, flags. So, links, where I got all the information from, you click into here, and you can go through all of these. Is the king. This one right here, and I'm going to tie this to our historian books, but this picture represents, I know exactly what fucking year this is. Now, the thing is when I've went through this, every one of these photographs is a guessing game. Nobody knows what the fuck it is, where it's at, but basically they have an idea. But I'm going to show you where they've fucked with history, and they've altered history. And so, let's open this up and look. So this is, let's back out. This is why they call me Hot Rod, because I don't know how to do this. Because I'm like full throttle. I want to tell you everything from Adam to Armageddon in one shot. But I can't do that. I have to basically help you guys understand this. Okay, so Laramie Street in Denver, Colorado. And this is a very interesting street. Okay, so now that let's go back here. There's the Tree of Knowledge. Let's go back here and I want to show you guys something. Okay, so I'm showing you this, and this is where I got this information from. And what do you do with the world? Because it's so easy to try to, they want to hide the truth or whatever. And I'm telling you, if you look at what I got, this is going to be Deliverance Day for the world. And they're going to squeal because, if you don't get that reference, I don't know what to tell you. But anyway, so let's, because I want everyone to be understanding that this is so important. Put aside your fucking differences. Now, grow the fuck up and be like adults. And be like, hey, look, this is it. We have the proof to show you guys. And this is what I'm trying to help you guys understand. This is so crazy. So the first actual demonstration of opposition to the Union occurred in Denver on April 24th, 1861, just a few days after the bombardment of Fort Sumter. And once again, like I said, the shot heard around the world. Denver awakened to find the stars and bars have been raised over Willingly Ford and Murphy store on Laramie Street. It threw me off with the Ford thing. I was I was wanting to say Willing Ford, but it's not. Never mind. Sorry, guys. I have ADD, and this is how I got in trouble with all this. But anyway, so let's go and be reality of check of, you know what? I just don't care what you think. All this is for freedom of knowledge, truth, whatever. It's comical. It's just a video. People, it's just a video. You can fucking turn the thing off. It's like the telephone. You know, back in the day, you had the power. You just hung up the phone. But now, for some reason, people don't understand that they can detach from the fucking internet and live a life outside of that. But that's the world we live in. And so if you go through, and I'm not going to spoon feed you on this because this is not for, the ones that need to be spoon fed. This is for the people that have figured out something's wrong, and here's the proof. Okay, so this mine is actually in Colorado. Like I said, I'm not going to spoon feed you on this. You'll have to go look it up. Supposedly, this was taken in 1920, about the time Lincoln took charge. Okay, so they've been cutting at this mine for a long time. This is my marble. And let me show you guys what it's like for what they had to deal with, how they moved this shit. It's absolutely crazy. All right, so this is kind of the reality check of this, okay? And the problem is there's so much information to cover, and I mean, you have to start putting the pieces together and seeing this, okay? That they had, and this is famous. Like Colorado was the golden ticket for me to break this, and luckily I lived here nor to figure it out. If I'd have lived anywhere else, I would have never been able to put this together and figure it out. But being that I lived here, I understand what it's like to go to the mountains. I understand what it's like to go camping. I also understand what it's like to do construction. I also understand what it's like to do construction in the mountains. And so when I tell you guys this, like when I figured this out, I know exactly what I figured out, and it absolutely it kind of broke me. We'll just go with that one. The Joker was born. So this is how they had to transport that stuff. Okay? I mean, okay, so you got block coming, and I'm just gonna make this so because this is I just can't believe how people didn't put this fucking together. Okay, so you have this fucking horse, and you have fucking block here, okay, and then you got mountain passes, and in the beginning, this is what the shit looked like. This is how they first got over it was fucking, and then to even carve out this in the Rockies to get all the way through, a mountain. I know this is a little extreme, but I'm trying to give you a reality check. Okay, so now you're going through that mess and you're four-wheeling with this fucking guy. and you have this weighted load and you're not, it's okay. So that's what I'm trying to tell you guys. They, until the train system, they weren't fucking doing shit with any of this stuff. Okay, so imagine how much quarry they moved out. And then this picture says the time of Lincoln took charge. And it would make sense because what I'm trying to tell you is our history in the United States is way older and a lot of it's being rewritten. We were conquered. I'm sorry, guys, but somebody conquered us. And if you feel like you haven't been conquered, we have. And this right here is more than enough evidence to even just start you guys to question reality. Okay? Think about that for a minute. So that picture took time of Union. You have the mud flood, okay? I talked about this a little bit, and I've highlighted. You can go into my folders, and I'm sorry, there's so much information to cover. I've tried to organize this to make it easy for people to go through this and come to a conclusion relatively easy, because it's absolutely enormous. But when you look at when electrical was invented, when they started putting in power plants, you look at Denver, Colorado, the whole thing, trust me, it's FUBAR. I mean, it is absolutely FUBAR. Okay, so back to this again, all right? The first actual demonstration of opposition to the Union occurred in Denver on April 24th, 1861. Okay? And this has been the problem when I've gone through all these pictures and stuff. I can show you photographs that are fucked with, and so this is the money shot. This is the one where I figured this out. I know what date this is. Because if you go in here, this is Laramie Street in Denver, Colorado, and what the Sam hell do we have hanging up there? Okay. You're like, okay, so you figured out the Civil War flag. You figured that out. Congratulations. Well, this is where it gets kind of weird. Let me I'm going to open up my files that I have on this. Basically the same thing you guys got. It's just easier and the pictures are easier to show. So let me go into Colorado and we're going to go into Denver. And this is the way I tried to lay it out on my files. Just so that it was easy. All the photographs were in one file. I tried to do where I had PDF files. I mean, it's so complex, but this won't load correctly. But where I'm going with this is if you go to Denver early, and like I said, I've been trying to piece this all together and make it so everyone else can see what I'm seeing. And fuck, I need a whole fucking army to put this together. But if I did, there'd be no question that there's something with our history that's not right. Okay, so earlier days of Denver, this is the years that I believe that these were happened, and I try to use some transfer pictures here and there to like show you the differences. But let's go down to Laramie Street, and we have it right here where you can see. Okay, so these are just the photographs that I put, and then if you go into early Denver, it's not in here. I didn't put it in here yet. Hold on just a minute. I gotta I gotta pause you and I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm going to show you guys where this, like how important this is, because I'm going to show you the time change and I'm going to show you something, basically alternate realities. We've lived here longer than we've been, because I'm going to tell you physically you can't do what they did in the time frame that they did. Colorado became alive in 1870, and within 30 years, put in building after building and changed. You'll have to see it. Okay, so we want to go to Lemaire Street. Sorry, I can't help not make fun of I hate that word. I don't know why. But anyway, so those of you that are watching and understanding what I'm putting down, we're gonna go do a little history. Okay, so when I was looking this up, how I tell time was actually by trees and stuff and buildings. And you can see it right here. But this place is interesting because this was a school for, college girls or whatever, orphanage. I don't know. I mean, it's hard to say. They look all about the same height. They look like adults, or, well, mid-sized to adult childhood like bodies. And you look in the back, and this is Denver, Colorado. There's nothing there, okay? And let's go down the rabbit hole and go with me on this. So this is supposed to be of Denver, and you can find these markers in time. But look at all the tree growth here, okay? Look at the buildings, and this is supposed to be downtown Denver. This is the stuff they built, okay? You're talking guys with fucking primitive tools built this shit. Our shit, what we built today, I mean, it's god awful fucking nasty now. I realize what we build, and don't even get me started. And then here's another fun fact you guys probably don't know. Construction's the only industry that has gone backwards for profit, basically by time and materials. I wonder how come that is. We've moved so far in advance in doing these projects where we pour concrete in place. We don't build with brick anymore, but yet it costs more. And it takes more time than building something like this. A house made of brick. I've never seen a fucking house like this. And there's so much evidence, guys. I'm sorry, and we'll just say A to A. Okay? Another street. And you can just watch as time progresses. And I've gone through all of these. These buildings are important markers in time. This right here, I can't find anything on this, but this looks like the first church that was built. This building you can identify, this shows you, and this is Le Maire Street. And this is just, when I figured this out, I was like, everybody that's ever fucking had a degree in United States history should be fucking fired immediately. Jesus, fuck. Sorry, I love God, but man, we've had those conversations where I talk to Jesus like they can't be this fucking stupid. They all can't. So I'm good with God. If I offended you, then you know what? Everything offends you. Go to hell. Oh, sorry, I wasn't supposed to say that. If you actually knew what hell was, it's just a common grave of mankind, supposedly. But our history's been altered and changed and lied to. And that's why I'm saying what I'm saying. Because our foundations need to be rebuilt on truth, not lies. There's that castle again. Church. It's got a lot of spiky things on top. You know, for a construction guy, I'm going to tell you, if this was block, which I'm going to go with it is, you know, it doesn't look like wood over here, but it looks kind of like more like brick. So I'm going to go with brick. And then you have all these little rundown little shackies. So, all right, well, let's just get the story straight of Colorado timeline. Like basically 1860 is when, because they have a flood of, and that's the thing, all of this is markers and times, guys. When you figure this out, you're going to shit. So let's just speed this up a little bit so you guys can see what I'm talking about and watch it change. And you can go through this. I've saved it all. Lemaire Street. No, that wasn't Lemaire Street. Sorry, I should, Lamar. Laramie. I don't know why, but I hate that. Laramie. Laramie. It always reminds me of Wyoming. Sorry, I don't know what else to do to this to make you guys realize, like, you know, like the stupidity of all this. Yeah, I might say some stupid shit here and there, but you have to understand the absolute gravity of this and understand what it's tree growth and everything. And how are you going to mark these in time? How are you going to start placing these to know how many centuries have passed? Because that's what it is. You don't build, tear down, build again, tear down, build again, tear down, all within basically 30 years. And then at the end of the game, you start winding up with this by the 1900s. Going from this, all within 30 years. Here's the thing, where did they get all the brick from? They had to build a brick plant in order to start making brick. So either they're going to have lumber imported, and that's the thing. You know, that's what nobody's. When I put this together, I was absolutely floored. I was like, there's no way. I mean, people that have done history should have fucking seen this shit, and someone should have been throwing a red flag up like immediately and said, this is no way. There's no way you could have done what you did with the pictures and the buildings being torn down, rebuilt, torn down, and be rebuilt. And so I've looked through this, and what I'm going to show you now next is because I don't know what else to do, but I can show you where they've actually messed with time. The flag. And let's actually let me go into that so you guys can see what I'm talking. That's trees. Timeline for Colorado. What it takes to actually, you know, hike from Pueblo to Salida. A week, 8 hours a day. All the links that I had. All right, let me pull up another one. All right, I found it, and this is why I'm trying to show you guys they've altered and changed history. All of these pictures that are in here, and like I said, this should be the least of our problems. We should be trying to come up with a way to solve the problems, not worry about what a fucking word is. Actually find out what the word meant and change history. Okay, so let's go through these, and I want to show you guys. If you start looking at these photographs, you can see where some of these have been doctored, and you can't make them out. But these are markers in time, and I'm going to show you. When you start seeing the flags and how many stars there are, then you can start putting time on the photograph. because time tells all. And this is what I found. And if you do your own research, like this one where you can't make out any of the flags, all of my photographs, they'll tell you what they are, where they were taken. At least that's what the libraries have said. Here's one with the photograph of the flag where you can barely make out the flags. But you can see the architect in the back of the time frame that we're talking about. This is early. This one is actually of Colorado Springs. Here's the, oh man, I'm drawing a blank on the hotel, the famous hotel in Colorado Springs. I want to call it Austin Bluffs, but for some reason I'm drawing a blank. Anyway, here's the original one that they had. It's a famous hotel. And they built this castle-like hotel, and then they came back and built... when you see it, I'll go through it all. There's so much to cover, guys. And I just wanted to point certain stuff out to you guys, to show you guys how to look for markers in time. You know, the flags, the numbers, show you where they marked them out. Like this photograph, this is like the weirdest place to put flags, especially on, you know, the schools in Salida. And there's no way to really hang the flags, but yet they're here, and you could barely make them out, and they're see-through. This one, where you can barely make out the flags. Yet the trees and everything are still, but the flags for some reason are blowing in the wind. This one, where they were trying to say it was a reenactment. More. And you can try to make them out, but they're hard. And I'll show you where they actually blotted some of them out. Like this one. If you look at this photograph, you can barely make out when the flag is. This one again. And this is the other thing that I figured out in time. When they have this rounded top, they're the most earliest pictures that I can find. And you can start to put together photographs in there with the way that they were, the quality of them. You can start to see that some of them were taken same. But this one, this is the most famous one right here that I found. I know this is hard to see in this one, but the United States flag you can't barely see. And then this one, you have it up here. And I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows of stars. Another one where they, and then the one here. So I'm back to this picture. Like I said, there's so much information to cover. And to get you guys to really start looking at photographs and being able to rip them apart, you can see telephone poles come in, go out, buildings come, go, all within magically 30 years. It's like the most fairy tale story I've ever seen when I put it together. So they call this the Confederate state flag, or the buck flag that they had. And obviously it's different in this photograph, but also if you're trying to hide history, it's easy to do. Let's see. This is the last one I wanted to show you guys right here. All of these flags are kind of basically whited out. These look like civil Union soldiers for the Confederate Army. Like I said, Colorado is mixed, but I know they have a banner here of U.S. Marshal. But you can look, and all the flags are blurted out. Let's go to one more. I got one because we're really gonna. This one, they actually drew it in. And so somebody covered up something here. When you start seeing this through all the photographs, it's easy to start to put this together. This one right here, like you wouldn't notice it unless you're just, and then all of a sudden you realize here, you look at these stars on these flags, and you realize somebody took a marker and marked it out. And I have all the links to it. This is in Leadville, Colorado. So think about that. If this is the time of the Civil War, that they built all of this in Leadville. How old are we? How many resets have we had? How many alternate realities? I mean, because there's no way to explain this. There's absolutely no way to explain any of this unless we've been lied to about our history, our buildings, our architecture, all of it. They've just ripped and pieced it together. And because there was no way to cover all of this information, to show all of these pictures, would you ever be able to put this together and say no? But I've traveled the United States. My family drove truck. So let's do that. All right. I don't want any money off of this. I just want to spare the truth and spread it to, or spread the truth, not spare the truth, but to get us all on the same page, because this could bring peace, because we can show that somebody is fucking with us. The lowly man on the totem pole is being pissed on, and I'm not fucking calling it rain. All right, so this is my, I don't know what else to show you guys other than I figured it out. And if you guys know a team that can help me out to put all this together to make, a video, and that's just it, guys. I'm just the ordinary fucking guy that for whatever reason, God had me figure this out. And now that I'm here, if you can make it better, but share the truth. I found the keys. Colorado is a huge deal. And to fulfill the Q prophecy, this is for my brothers and sisters of America and the world. We need, fuck these guys. I'm telling you, I have it. I'll go up against anybody because time is on my side. With time is God.
The summer is over. I am in command. That little outburst, each and every one of you will spend 3 hours in detention. Today, immediately after school, in the basement.
Just so I don't get copyrighted. So yeah, brothers, if you're patriotic, I've given you the keys to look up our past and also hopefully give you guys some hope. At least one of you inspired. Maybe one of you can change this and show the world what we need to show them so they can end this chaos, this rule of Satan, because it needs to come to an end. I'm not here to preach to anybody about their life. You have to answer for God. I don't. Well, I mean, I do, but I don't for you. So I'm as neutral as it comes, but don't go after your neighbor. That's the difference. That's God showing love and compassion for his neighbor to figure out what's up and what he needs instead of immediately wanting to bomb him and destroy him. Yep, because the world is so small. Our neighbors are people in all of the world.